We are talking about Clojure, and now let's talk about the REPL. And most of the time when you are using Clojure, you will do so in an editor or a REPL, and the REPL has the following parts. First, read an expression. It can be a string of characters to produce Clojure data. Second, evaluate the data returned from the first to yield a result, and this also can be Clojure data. And third, print the result by converting it from data back to characters. And fourth, loop back to the beginning. One important aspect of the second point is that Clojure always compiles the expression before executing it. Clojure is always compiled to JVM bytecode. There is no Clojure interpreter. Okay? This is an example. This code is compiled, and then this is the result from the execution. The box above demonstrates evaluating an expression plus 3, 4 and receiving a result. Let's explore at the REPL. Most REPL environments support a few tricks to help with interactive views. For example, some special symbols remember the results of evaluating the last 3 expressions. And here's an example for the last result, an example for the result 2 expressions ago, and the example for the result for 3 expressions ago. And here's a practical example. First we evaluate this command, and then we execute the second command with the last result. Here the last result is 7. Okay. And then we execute a thread statement with the last result and the result 2 expressions ago, and this is the result. Okay. In addition, there is a namespace called Clojure.REPL that is included in the standard Clojure library that provides a number of helpful functions. To load that library and make its functions available in our current context, call require Clojure REPL refer all. Okay, you just need to execute this code here. For now, you can treat that as a magic incarnation. Poof! We will unpack it when we get to namespaces. We now have access to some additional features that are useful to the REPL: doc, find doc, approps, source, and dir. The doc function displays the documentation for any function. Let's call it for the plus function, okay? And we call like this, doc plus, and this is the output. The doc function prints the documentation for plus, including the veiled signatures. The doc function prints the documentation, then returns nil as the result. You will see both and the evaluation output. We can invoke doc on itself too, and this is an example calling the documentation of the function doc, and this is the output. And are you not sure what something is called? You can use approps command to find functions that match a particular string or regular expression. This is extremely useful. Here's an example: approps passing the plus regex, and here is the output. You can also widen your search to include the doc strings themselves with find doc. Here's an example of using find doc by passing the string, and here is the output. Okay, very cool. If you like to see a full listing of the functions in a particular namespace, you can use the dir function. Here we can use it on the Clojure REPL namespace. Here's an example: dir by calling the namespace by passing the Clojure.REPL namespace as a parameter for the dir function, and this is the output. Okay. And finally, we can see not only the documentation but the underlying source for any function accessible by the runtime. Here's an example by using the source function on the dir. This is the output. Okay. And as you go through this workshop, please feel free to examine the docstring and source for the functions you are using. Exploring the implementation of the Clojure library itself is an excellent way to learn more about the language and how it is used. It is also an excellent idea to keep a copy of the Clojure cheat sheet open while you are learning Clojure. The cheat sheet categorizes the functions available in the standard library and is an invaluable reference. Now, let's consider some Clojure basics to get you going in the next video. For now, that's it, and thank you so much.